Hello and welcome to Tuesday's edition of Cracking the Cryptic, where I've just opened this puzzle up. Mark suggested I have a go at this. Apparently it is a brutally difficult puzzle, but I have to say the rule set is incredible. This is based off blueprints. Many of you will look at this grid and instantly know it's based off blueprints. It's called Drafting Strategy. It's by Sudoku Joker, which is a new name to me, and propitiously, Maverick has just taken off. How long has that taken? About 12 seconds or something. We're about to get a little bit of aeroplane noise in the background. I can't do anything about it. Maverick likes to buzz past my attic window. It normally means that the puzzle in the video is amazing. So let's hope that's true today. Certainly the rule set's amazing. Yeah, the thing that's so cool about this is the rules say we start with 50 footsteps and we have to make our way through the maze and get from, is that the entrance hall? It's probably entrance hall, isn't it? I don't know. I haven't read the rules well enough to know if, yeah, entrance hall. And this is the antechamber. So we're going to have to do a real path through the maze of blueprints. Yeah. Well, I'm looking forward to having a go at this, but Mark said this is brutally difficult. So to allow myself a long time, I'm starting the video slightly earlier than usual. So fingers crossed I've given myself enough time, if indeed I can do it at all. But what can I tell you about? Well, speaking of streaming, of course, hopefully some of you will have watched our Blueprint streams. We streamed Blueprints for over a year. What an incredible game that is. But last night, we moved on to a new game. We did, what's it called? Lorelei and the Laser Eyes. Have I got... No. That one? Yes. Yes. This one. So thanks so much to those of you who joined us. I hope you enjoyed watching us do battle with a brand new game, an intriguing game as well. We will no doubt be revisiting Lorelei and her laser eyes shortly when we next stream. So I don't actually know when that will be. I don't think it will be next Monday, maybe the Sunday next week, but I'm not certain yet. So do make sure you've hit the bell icon, because as soon as I schedule the stream, then you'll be told which day it is we're going to be able to do that next week. Now, what else? And I'll try and remember to put a link to last night's stream on the screen. Over on Patreon, we have got our brand new Sudoku hunt. Loads of you have been having a go at that. So this is not the up-to-date situation, because I haven't refreshed this screen. It went live on the 1st of August. And let's see where we are. So you can see there are 9 puzzles in the hunt. So if you want to win the prize by the 20th, which is still a very long way away, you have to finish all 9 puzzles. And we were at 0. 0 people had done all 9. There are some who have done it now. Let's see. 89. That's actually not as high as I thought it would be. That is interesting. So you can see over 1,000 of you have managed to solve the first puzzle, and there's quite a big drop off with the Ace of Clubs. Then it looks like people who've managed to get to roughly the 10 of Hearts are just finishing them off after that. So it looks like there's only a small attenuation for the last few puzzles, but it looks like quite a stiff jump between puzzle 1 and puzzle 2. And remember, you never have to guess on all the homemade puzzles on Cracking the Cryptic, because they are designed to have a logical path through. And if you do get stuck, go over to the Discord server, where there's a Patreon only channel there, and lots of people share hints and tips about how to get unstuck if you do get stuck. Anyway, do get involved. It's all over on Patreon right now, and thanks so much to those of you who support us there. You keep the channel going. Now, birthdays. Let's do birthdays. DJ, your girlfriend Ray wrote to me and told me that you've been watching the channel for a while, I think, and the two of you sometimes solve the puzzles together. And apparently DJ is at the moment a bit more experienced with variant Sudoku, So sometimes DJ gets the breakthrough before Ray's even had a chance to read the rules. But anyway, it's just a matter of experience, Ray. You just have to keep plugging away, and so slowly the rules will become more and more natural, and the sort of logic that emanates from the rules will feel much more at your fingertips. So keep going. But DJ, many happy returns today. I hope you have a great birthday, and I hope, of course, there is a large slice of heavily iced chocolate cake. The next birthday is for Justin. Justin, your wife. Is it Leah? It could be Lee. It's one. It could even be Leah, but I think more likely Leah. Wrote to me, and hopefully it's all clear. If you're a husband and wife who are called Justin and something that's Leah, then it's all clear who you are. But I know, Justin, you watch every morning. And Leah says that you work so hard and you are the best father and husband, and the children and she want you to have an absolutely fabulous birthday, even though you have to work today. I'm sorry about that, Justin, but I hope when you get home there is some heavily iced chocolate cake for you. That's all the news. Shall we have a look at the rules of Drafting Strategy by Sudoku Joker? Now strap yourselves in, because if you're a fan of blueprints, I've just realised, is that the outer room? Oh, that's magnificent. So obviously in Blueprint, I say obviously, if you've never played Blueprints, you won't know what I'm babbling on about. But if you've played Blueprints, it's sort of a 9x5 maze. And you get to, every time you start a new day, the maze resets. So you can pick a totally different, so, if you go north from the entrance hall, you can pick a totally different room here. So every day, the whole house changes. But there is an outside room as well, which did tend to be very important actually in the latter stages of the game, and that's presumably this house here. Anyway, let's read the rules. What do we have to do if we're going to actually solve the puzzle? Can't just admire the graphics. Right, normal Sudoku rules apply. So we're going to put the digits 1 to 9 once each in every row, column, and every 3x3 box. Okay, and I should have instantly realised. Look. Is this... Well, room 46 in Blueprints is that room normally, isn't it? It's the room off the antechamber. But anyway, 46 are given digits. In addition, no cell may be double the value of any orthogonally adjacent cell. Wow. Okay, so that is a big rule. That's like an anti black dot rule, isn't it? Black Kropke dot rule. So that means, let's say this cell was a 4, then none of these cells, no cell may be double the value. Could be 8 because 8 is double 4, or 2 because 4 is double 2. So that is a general property that exists throughout the whole grid, I think. So that's presumably going to be something we're going to need to remember and work on. Now the central 5x9 area, is that 5x9 or 9x5? That's a question for the purists. The central 5x9 area of the grid depicts a floor plan of a house with openings between cells representing doorways between rooms. So are they all 4-way doors, or are there some that are... not sure. It looks... Oh, no, they aren't, actually. That one, look at this room here. That room, that only has a north and a south. It doesn't have a west. So, okay, so we are going to have to pay attention to that. So there are doorways between rooms. There is one way that this house can be traversed visiting each room only once, starting from the cell marked E, the house's entrance hall, and ending in the cell marked A, the antechamber. You start with 50 footsteps. Each time you enter a purple room, you gain 10 steps. And every time you enter a red room, red rooms are normally terrible in Blueprints, your total number of steps is halved, and indeed that is terrible. So if you go in a red room, you halve your steps. There is a room in Blueprints that does that. I want to say it's the gymnasium. Or is it the weight room? Oh, I don't know. There's a red room in Blueprints that does exactly that, and it's a hideous room. Every time you enter any other type of room, you lose 1 step. Your step count is always a whole number and may not fall to 0 at any time during the walk through the house. I mean, that's a fabulous rule. Okay, there is one way. We have to okay, and the path we're going to take is going to visit every room. That's what it says. There is one way that this house can be traversed, visiting each room only once. So we're going to go from there to there, but we're going to have to take in all the rooms with our 50 footsteps, subject to those other rules about purples and, what was the other one? Purples and reds. So what do the greens do then? Okay, sorry, there are a few more rules. The path travelled through the house forms a region sum line. Region sum lines are divided by the Sudoku box borders into sections which each have the same sum. That's crazy. So we're going to be drawing a path. So let's say the path did, I mean, it's not going to do this, but let's imagine it did this. Let's make sure we understand how the region sum rules work. Let's say it goes up from there. Then the box borders, the 3x3 box borders, divide the path into segments. So that's a segment. That's a segment. Oh no! This won't work because I've only got one segment cell there. Let's do that then. That's a segment. Oh, I'm messing up the colours a bit. Sorry. And that's a segment. Let's make that blue. So what we'd be being told here is that these 2 indigos sum to the same as those 4 yellows, sum to the same as those 2 oranges, sum to the same as those 2 blues. So it's a very powerful constraint if we could get if we knew the path. Digits in 2 adjacent green rooms sum to 10. Okay, so it's like there's an X between them. A digit in a purple room is smaller than any of the digits in orthogonally adjacent cells, right? So these are like anti-fortress cells or something. So it's very likely purple cells are low. And two rooms of the same colour may not contain the same digit. So the green, oh, I see. So the green cells, I sort of understand those. There are 8 green cells, and each pair adds to 10, and they're all sort of mutually exclusive. That's great. They are all the rules. That is a mad rule set. This might be the hardest version of Blueprints ever. Do have a go. The way to play is to click the link under the video as usual. But now I get to play. Let's get cracking. So, how on earth do we start this? I've got to go through all the rooms. So I'm wondering whether... I don't know. I'm not sure. I can see some, like that room. In fact, all of the corner rooms just have one entry and exit. So the path is going to do this, isn't it? In the corners. But then does it go there? Or does it go there, there? The way the antechamber cell is visited is either from the 6 or from this cell. You can't cross that boundary because there's no door in this cell that's to the north. So it's not quite like real Blueprints. In real Blueprints, I'm pretty sure the antechamber has 3 entrances and exits, although they are very hard to open. So we don't go to the outer room, do we? I don't think it said we had to. No, it says the central 5x9 is what the thing we have to visit. So this is very much a sort of it's pandering to those who know the game. It really is. That's a lovely I love that. And I love the fact it's purple as well. So it does have a little bit of sort of influence in what goes on in the main grid. So I don't really know what to do here. I mean, my only thought, so I'll say my only thought, and then we can think about whether this thought is oh no, actually I've had a second thought. I'll say my first thought first. That's probably the best way to express thoughts, isn't it? In order. Can we use the fact that the secret is what I'm wondering to work out the region sum total? I feel like the region sum total must be 15. Let's put it out there like that. But that is only a feeling and is very much unproven. And let me try and explain why that's instinctually. Why do I think that? Well, it's because I have to build some sort of pathway through this maze. And in doing that, I know that every single cell of this box 5, and indeed box 2 and box 8, but let's look at box 5. Box 5, every cell of this is going to be visited by the path. Which means, and the secret of Sudoku is something I share with only my very favourite people, but of course if you're watching this you're one of my favourite people. The sum of that box is 45, because I know this box contains the digits 1 to 9 once each, so all the digits in there sum to 45. Now, that means there's going to be some distinct number of pathways in and out of this box. So for example, if it went like that and then like this, something like that. I don't know if that's possible, but that's clearly not possible, is it? Because if this was the way that the path moved through box 5, there would be four distinct segments in the box. And therefore 45, because each segment should have the same sum, that's what the region sum lines means, each of these segments is meant to have the same sum. 45 ought to be exactly divisible by 4, which it isn't. So we're looking for numbers that factorise 45. Now, yeah, it can't be 45 itself, because these three cells are clearly visited by some part of the path, and they definitely don't add up to 45. So we are looking for genuine factors rather than trivial factors like 45 and 1 and things like that. So we're looking for things like 5s, 3s, 9s maybe, and 15s. 5 is clearly nonsense. You can't have every segment in box 5 summing to 5, because there are digits higher than 5 in box 5, and their segment total will definitely be higher. So we're looking for 9 or 15, aren't we? They're the only options. We couldn't have bigger factors of 9, or bigger multiples of 9, like 18, because we can't split 45 into segments, into 3 18s. 3 18s of much bigger, 54. So why isn't it 9? Maybe it is. No, if it was 9, how would you ever get to the middle cell? I don't think you could. That's quite. It's almost an argument I quite like. So what I'm thinking is, if the paths through box 5 were divided into 5 segments, each of which summed to 9, how would we do that? Well, let's think it through. there's going to be one digit. There's going to be a 9 in this box. Let's say that could be a 9, couldn't it? That's fine. But then what are we doing with 8? 8 in this box would have to partner up with a 1. That's the only way of making a segment that adds up to 9 with the digit 8. So that would be a 2-cell segment. But then the 7 in the box is going to have to partner up with a 2. The 6 in the box is going to have to partner up with a 3. And the 5 in the box is then going to have to partner up with a 4. In other words, there's going to be 4, along with the 9, there's going to be 4 2-cell segments. But the problem with that is, how do you ever get a segment that involves the middle cell of the grid? You can't do it, because you'd have to go into the box and then get out of the box again. You're inevitably going to use a 3-cell segment, but there can't be a 3-cell segment because we've just discussed how the segments are going to have to be built up if you are going to attempt to do that in this grid. You just could never you could never divide this box into the correct pieces. So I don't think 9 will work. And I think, therefore, it is 15. Can't be anything else. I mean, it really can't be. But the problem with 15 now is going to be a different problem. Because even knowing that the segments are 15 segments, 15 you can do in a lot of different ways. You could do it in great big segments. You could have a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5-cell segment summing to 15, or you could have a 2-cell segment summing to 15, 6, 9, 7, 8. So yeah, okay. So maybe what we don't do is start in the middle, actually, then. Maybe what we're actually meant to do is to start in these places. Because what I'm now realizing is that we know these 3 cells have to be on the path somehow. Is it possible? Well, none of these cells individually can be a 15. Obviously, 2 of them could sum to 15. But if 2 of them did sum to 15, if we attempted to do this, for example, and we had those 2 summing to 15 as a segment, that would be fine. But the problem then is, when we pick this cell up on a different segment, that should just be a 15. And that can't be. You can't write 15 into a single cell. And what that's making me think is that actually each of the stripes down the edge of the grid are individual 3-cell segments summing to 15. That's rather lovely, because that's then that feels very nice in terms of the column adding to 45, doesn't it? You're just going to have 3 separate, distinct 15 segments. Right, but this is perhaps more importantly going to at least allow us to start to draw the path then. So what we're saying is we don't have 2 or 1-cell segments anywhere. I don't quite know, though, do I? I can draw these in. That's all fine. But do I know whether it does this or this? Answer, no. Okay, I do know that one. That one I spotted earlier doesn't have an exit. So that one's got to go up. That one hasn't got an exit to its east, so that one has to go down. I love this. This is a fantastically interesting puzzle. I love the fact that it feels like I'm playing Blueprints, even though I'm very much not. And Blueprints was essentially sentient as well at the end, wasn't it? I mean, it was definitely listening. Mark and I would say things like it would be it would be totally unfair if we never got a west door with the next 15 picks. And then we wouldn't get a west door with the next 15 picks. It literally knew. Now, what do you think we do now? So if that goes down, then that would have to be a 15 segment. This could be a 9. But if that doesn't go down, it's got to go there, and then that would have to be a 7-8 segment, because it couldn't be a 6-9 segment. So okay, so the antechamber segment is a 2-cell 15 segment, but I just don't know whether it comes from the east or the west. Now, almost all of these rooms seem to have a lot of entries and exits. Oh. I don't know what to do. Do I have to... I'm sorry. I'm being inarticulate and useless here. I know each main box, like this box, that has to have 3 15 segments. Oh goodness, sorry, it's windy today. It's still absolutely boiling, but that was a slamming door as a result of wind. I've lost my train of thought now. No, I was trying to... Yeah, what I was thinking about was that has to have 3 segments in it. But it doesn't have to have... Because you effectively come into the grid from the south, don't you, to arrive in the entrance hall. Yeah, so if we... Okay, so what that means is, in terms of segments going in and out of box 8, if we count the movement from outside the grid into the entrance hall as one entrance into this box, altogether there are going to be 6 entries and exits combined, aren't they? Because there's going to be... We know that there are 3 segments of 15 to sum to the whole box total of 45. So each segment, and there are 3 such segments, has an entry into the box and an exit from the box, which means this box border is cut. Well, it's going to be cut 5 times we can see, and once we can't see from here, because I'm pretty sure I've done enough puzzles recently. I've tried to do... Was it the Glipperal puzzle where I kept trying to do that and I couldn't do it? To know that we can't show that. But then we've got 1, 2, 3. I should have 3. Yeah, I should have 3 more cuts of the border, so I actually know where they are. They can only be there, can't they? Right, so can I then propagate that to the middle box? That's got to be exactly the same logic. There's got to be 6 cuts of the border. 1, 2, 3. So there's a... I want to say there's got to be a north one there then, but that might be wrong. Well, hang on. Let's look at this one. There does have to be 6 cuts. That can't be a cut. That can't be a cut. So 1, 2, 3. There's got to be a cut involving each of these 3 cells. And this one, how is that cutting the border? It's not got a north exit. So that must be a cut like that. Which means that's a cut. Now this one's more difficult, because that could be a cut there or a cut there. Note it can't be both, because to be both, that would imply this was a 15 on its own, which it isn't. Okay, that's not quite worked, but maybe we can repeat this logic on box 2. Oh, no, I'm not going to do that. Right, there was something in the instructions about greens adding to 10. Digits in 2 adjacent green rooms sum to 10. So that is not a segment, because it would add to 10, not 15. So we must do that, we must do that. Oh, but those 2 presumably could add up to 15. Oh, I thought I was onto something clever then. Yeah, I mean, it could just do that, couldn't it? That would be totally reasonable. Don't know. Those two have to add up to 11. Because that segment must add up to 15. Oh, sorry. Look at this. I haven't spotted this. Those two add up to 10. That's a segment, so that's a 5. It's just a digit hanging there waiting to be discovered. So now these two add up to... Oh, hang on. It is recording, isn't it? I suddenly got absolutely terrified that I hadn't turned the webcam on. Yeah, these two add up to 11. It's not 4, 7 or 5, 6. So it's either 3, 8 or 2, 9. But there was some rule about black dots, wasn't there? No cell may be double the value of any orthogonal neighbour. So this can't be 2 or 8 because it would be in a doubling relationship with 4. So that's 3 or 9, and this is not 3 or 9 then. So this is 2 or 8. And this is 3 or 9, and the two greens together add up to 10, so that's 1 or 7. And then, I've got something. Column 3, this bottom domino is a 10 sum. Remember it said all the greens were different, and each pair of greens adds up to 10. So one of them's a 1, 9, one of them's a 2, 8, one of them's a 3, 7, one of them's a 4, 6. There's no 5 in there because you couldn't do a double 5 and obey Sudoku rules. Now, look at that pair. That's not involving 4, so it's not 4, 6, and it's not 2, 8, because that would kill off this cell. So this is an odd pair. So it's either 1, 9, or 3, 7. But now, look at that one. That's an odd pair adding to 10. This is an odd pair adding to 10. So these are the two even pairs adding to 10. And that one is not a 6. So this one is not a 4. And I'm not sure. Okay, let's just go back and think about box 2. Box 2's got to, again, the antechamber is going to be the sort of place we exit the grid and we go up into room 46. So that's effectively an exit. So we've got 1, 2, 3. We need 6. These can't be entries and exits. So each of these is an entry or an exit. We've drawn this one in. Now this one, it could go to the west or it could go to the south. This one, that one can't go south. It's got no south exit. So that must go that way. Oh, I could have got that already. Oh, bother. I could have got it from this one already going west. That forces this to be a turn. I just didn't see it. So if that joined up there, that would have to be a 7-8 pair. There's no 15, no. I was wondering if there was, because of the black dot rule, there could be a bad way of, 15's odd, so it's never going to be a problem there. 6, 9, 7, 8, there's no problem. Oh dear. Okay. Right, what were the other rules? I don't know what to do now. Oh, we've got the footsteps. Divide it into a region sum line. I've been trying to do the dividing into a region sum line. That's not worked. All of the red digits have to be different. All of the the purple digits, weren't they sort of anti-fortresses? What was the rule about purples? Smaller than orthogonal neighbours. Is it smaller than any orthogonal neighbour? Yeah, it is. I was wondering if it was just the house borders, but it's actually any orthogonal neighbour. So I guess these can't be 9s or things, can they? Could they even be 8? If they were 8, they'd have to be surrounded on 3 sides by 9. So they're not 9s or 8s. Maybe they can be 7s and be surrounded by 8s and 9s. But that's not much of a restriction, actually, is it? That really isn't much of a restriction. So, where's 6 in column 3? Don't know, but it's in one of those cells. So this has got 6 in it, and 2 digits that sum to 9 that are not 4, 5 and are not 3, 6. So it's either got 1, 8 or 2, 7. So it's got whatever digit this isn't, and it's got the complement of this that adds up to 10 with it, which is that one. So that digit, whatever this digit isn't, go there to add up to 10. Well, no, not to add up to 10, to add up to 9. Sorry. Oh dear, okay. That's really weird. I haven't thought about. I'm just going to read the footsteps rule again. You start with 50. So I start there with 50. Each time you enter a purple room, I gain 10. I'm going to enter 2 purple rooms. That's effectively 70. I've effectively got 70 steps. Every time you enter a red room, you halve your steps. And I'm going to enter 3 red rooms. Every time you enter any other room, you lose a step. My step count's always a whole number and may not fall to 0 at any time. So is that telling me I'm not allowed to go straight into the red room here for some reason? How many? I've got to visit. I'm here. So I'm in one of the cells already. So I've got 44 cells to visit. But in getting there, I can't be on 0 steps, can I? So when say I went from here to there, that couldn't be a 1. I couldn't. That's a weird point, actually. I'm just going to check that that's true. Your step count may not fall to 0, and I have to get to the antechamber. So that couldn't. If that was the way we go, that would be a minimum of 2. So I have to have 1 step left when I'm on A. So that effectively means I can think of it as having to visit 40. I'm just trying to think of it in terms of how many steps I have to take, if you see what I mean. And I feel like it's gone back up to 45, because although I start here and it didn't cost, I start here with 50, because I have to have 1 when I get to the end. I've got to visit 44. But I can't be on 0, so I can't just take. If this was 44 and everything didn't adjust the path, that wouldn't work. So although I could get to there, I'd have 0 steps when I got to there, which wouldn't be right. So, oh dear, sorry. Let me just. I'm still not there, am I? 45. But also, it doesn't actually cost me. Like when I go into a red room, all it's really doing, it's not saying take a step. So if this was 50, and I go here, all that happens is I lose 25. The step I've taken to go there doesn't cost me a step. And the same is true if I go into a purple. It doesn't cost me a step to go into a purple. It just says I gain 10 steps. So if I was on 40 there, I'd just go up to 50. I wouldn't go to 39 and then add the 10 steps. So actually for those 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 rooms, it doesn't really cost me a step to go there, although it has a different effect on the steps. So I start with 50. I'm definitely getting 20 more from going to the purples. That's 70. In theory, because I need to have one step when I arrive on the A, I'm not sure. I'm still not sure how to do it. Sorry. So if I immediately went into there, that's instantly costing out of my budget of 70. Now that's impossible. That's so impossible. Because if I do that, if I do go straight to the east, I am losing from my total budget of 70 steps an instant 25 steps, which puts me on 45 steps. But I'm also, whenever I go in there and there, I'm losing some steps. And yet I'm meant to, if I was on this cell having only visited one other thing, and I've still got 43 rooms to visit, even though these ones don't quite cost me, I'm still going to be taking a penalty whenever I go into the reds that's quite meaningful. Yeah, okay, so what I'm now starting to think is that what I've got to do is try and minimize the effect of the reds on the penalty. Because imagine that the red was there, then if it was there and I had to have one when I got to there, this could be a so that in going from there to there, I could have 4 steps here, move to here. That costs me 2 steps because it's a red room. And then I'm on 2 and I go to there and it's 1. So the penalty, if this was a red cell, which I know it isn't, I'm just trying to think about the effect of red cells. The later they are in the path, the lower the penalty is for visiting them. So a red cell here would have cost me, I'd have been on 4, it would have cost me 2 steps of my budget of 70. Why is my phone buzzing? Okay. But if I go here to here, it costs me 25 steps of penalty. And so I'm halving 3 times on the path. So okay, so I'm going to approach this a bit differently now. I'm now going to totally change the way I'm thinking about this. Yeah, I feel like what it might be saying to me in not so many words is that you have to find a path that forces these 3 red things to be as late on the path as you humanly can force them to be. And if you do that, I bet you it's still really difficult to get to this without the effect of 3 halvers being awful. Oh, there's an awful fly flapping around. So if this was so let's imagine, what I'll do is I'll draw this in a different color, I think, just because I'm not saying I'm committing to this, I just want to understand the effect of it. So I'm going to say that this is really late on the path, which I could do very easily just by saying the path ends here. So the penalty for this one, this has to be 1, so that has to be 2, 3, 4. So after I have 4 there, I must have 5 after the effect of this. So I must have 10 steps from one of those two. Would be that. That's what that would be saying. You've got 10 steps in one of these. You go in there, you get 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and that's what that works. And the cost of that then is a 5-step penalty. So already that's interesting. What we've now established is that the very best case for this, the effect of this red one on my step budget of 70, is a 5 penalty. So we're already down to 65 absolutely best case, and that's if that does close there. If it doesn't and it goes off up here, then we'd have to join this up somehow, and then that, and then in there. And this is going to be a much heavier penalty than 5. And what do we not want to do? We don't want to take the effect of the penalties. Really, yeah, I mean, so now I think we can say with certainty we can't go there. I think we could already have said that, but that would be a 25 penalty on top of a 5 penalty, which is a 30 penalty before you even count this in. And now we're at, I mean, yeah, the effect of this one is not trivial either, because that's nowhere near the antechamber. So even if somehow you could race up here and hit the antechamber, which I don't quite know how you do, no, because this is way earlier in the path than that is. So the effect of this one is, I'm going to say at least, I don't know exactly, to be honest, but it's way more than 5. So these together have at least, let's just say 10 plus 25 there, that's 35. That takes the total steps I've got to play with from the beginning to 35, which is a ludicrous overestimate. But I've got to go to at least 40 rooms. Maybe not 45 rooms, because it doesn't cost me to go into those 3. But I am very sure now I don't do that. In fact, I'm so sure about that, I'm going to actually do that. That's right. And that means that the path does go there. So it probably does close there, actually. But I'm not saying it does. I'm just saying that's my instinct. So, I don't know, though. I don't know where E goes. Yes, but okay, but I must continue my plan. My plan was to try and make these red things as late in the path as I can do it. So how would I do that? The blue would have to go there now. It can't be a loop, so it would have to go there. I've got to get to this cell, so that's got to be like that. Not sure. Sorry, this is probably as obvious to everybody. If I go across there, that probably is. I'm not actually sure if that's what I want to do. What I want to do, how do I make this as late in the path as I possibly can? So I want to go from E, and I want to do an absolute meander before I hit either of these reds. So okay, so I could do, I'm not actually sure I can do that, but I could do something like this up there. I can't go in there because that's I'm not going to have visited something like this. I'm not committing to this. I'm just saying something like this. Something like that, I'm going to claim. That has put these 2 reds really late. So the penalty for going into these is about as late as I can make it, because I've really meandered before I've hit any of them. Now, if I do that, so I start on 50. So 49, 48, 47, 46, 45, 44, 43, 42, 41, 40, 39, 38, 37, 36, 35, 34, 33, 32. So that would have the correct count in terms of, because that couldn't be an odd number, could it? Because then when we went there, we wouldn't be on an integer number of steps. But that would be a 32, so that's a 16 penalty to go in there. And then 16, so then I would go, that doesn't, okay. Right, no, this is definitely wrong. Because now I'm on a 15 count here going into this. I see. I was suddenly thinking, I can't possibly be, this can't work anyway, because I'm going to be on like 7 or something here. But then I've realised I've got the 2 purples to come, which are going to boost my steps to allow me to get to the end. But this is wrong, because, I know how I could fix this. Yeah, this is wrong, because if I want to keep these really late on the path, I actually need that to be an odd number, so that when I move here, I go back to an even number. So when I halve it again, I'd get an integer. But I've seen I could do that very simply. It's a slightly worse, because I could do that. That takes 2 off. But now I'm on... So now rather than being on 32 going in here, I'm on 34 going in here. So it's a set. So I go down to 17, 16, 8, 18, 17, it's hard to do this, 16, 15, 14, 24, 24, but I've got to visit all 4 of those. So 23, 22, 21, 20, 19, 18, 17, 16, 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, and that's what I had to be to get to that one. I had to have 10 from one of those 2. I couldn't. Right, this is huge. This is because I'm not saying this is correct at all, but I'm saying that something like this is what is going on. What I mean by that is that I have only just managed to do this by making the most absurd path, hitting these reds as late as I could to extract the lowest tax in terms of my steps. And I've just about managed to do it there. So by hitting, what was it, 34 to 17. So the tax there was a 17 tax. The tax, so 17. So 17, so 34 went 17. And then it went 16, 8. So those 2 together cost me 25 steps of tax. And that costing me 5 steps of tax, which is 30 steps of tax. And there is no way, I'm very sure about what I'm about to say, there is no way in this puzzle that you can extract a lower tax from the reds. So the absolute best case scenario is that you reduce your budget of 70 steps by 30 steps. That's the best I can possibly do. 17 plus 8 plus 5. If I'd taken any further meander, the parity count would go wrong. And if I'd taken a shorter route, I'd extract a higher tax. So what did I say? 30? No, 30. 30 is the total tax. 30 is the best case total tax, and I've got 70 steps to play with. So effectively, when I sit here, the best case is I've got 40 steps to visit all 45 rooms. Oh, I see. Yes, but that works because these three and those two don't actually cost me steps to go into them. So this is the answer. This is the point. It wasn't to do with region sum lines. It's to do with steps and how late on the path you have to hit these thingies. There is no way to do this without hitting this, without the total tax for steps to be 35. You can't. If you took a bigger tax than that, you couldn't achieve all of the rooms. And the only way you can do it with 35, given you're actually visiting 45 rooms, is because some of these rooms don't cost you steps to go to. They just have very specific effects. So there's 5 rooms that don't cost you, which is why you can effectively have 40 steps here and visit 45 rooms altogether, given the fact you have to have one step left there. Now we've got to be really careful, though. Yeah, I can instantly see a problem. Not a problem, but an ambiguity. Because although I am now alleging, not really alleging it, I think I've proved it, but I am now, although I'm now saying that something like this is correct, it might not be this, because look at, for example, the congregation of digits I've got going on in box 8. This effect would have been identical if I did that. All of those 6 cells are still visited before I get to the first red. So it's the same count, but I don't know whether the path does that and that, or does that and that. I don't see how I can tell that. There's going to have to be something about the puzzle that tells me that. Now, is there any other ambiguity that we... Let me think about that. Well, I tell you what isn't an ambiguity, and that's this line here. There is no way we go up there, because that would imply that we're not hitting this cell very early, which would mean we are hitting these cells earlier than I've just explained, gives the lowest tax, which is what we have to extract. So that is actually a complete forced, which means that is a complete forced, which means that is a complete forced. Now, if we didn't turn, no, so we can't go there. That's going to be, again, that's a nonsense. But I'm wondering, I think that does have to do this, because if it didn't, we've seen that but given I have to take this left-hand side, I've got to take all of these cells. There's no other way. I've got to pick up those cells before I get here. Because if I decide to not take those 2 or something, you can't leave them behind. There's no way to get the path in again. So I think it's valid to say that these 2 do turn down and that they form a sort of 4-cell loop there. So it may be the only ambiguity is here. Let me just cogitate on that for a second. Is there a way we could have gone up there? If I had gone up, the step count would go 2 higher before I get to this. I just think the parity's wrong then. Because I can't leave these 2 out. I can't turn this earlier there. That can't work. This is not an easy puzzle, by the way. How long have I been going? Nearly an hour. I've got 1 digit. But I do think I understand it more. That I think maybe. Yeah. Yeah. So this then works as well, doesn't it, in terms of it makes the path post this cell long enough, or precisely long enough, that it just works by the time I get here. Because I'm down to 10 steps here, which is what we wanted it to be. So, okay, so I'm now thinking this is the ambiguity. I don't know whether I go there and then that loops around, or I go up there and that closes. Right, okay, well, I'm going to take some low-hanging fruit then from this. That is a 2-cell segment, so that's adding up to 15. So that one is a 7 or a 9. And if that can't be a 2, that can't be an 8, because they add up to 10 on the green thingy. This is still very much not done, is it? Oh, good grief. What do I do with this? Even if I know the path, do I get some extra information? Does it give me something better? Path? No, it's really only the region sum. So I must be able to do more with the regions. Ah, yeah, I can see it. Right. Right, look at that. That's a 5-cell segment, adding up to 15. That is a massive breakthrough, because those cells have to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and that one can't therefore be 7. Right. So 1, that's a 9 then, isn't it? Because that's got to add up to 10. These have to add up to 15, so that's a 2. These are now not 9, 1. They are 3, 7. And these digits are now 1, 6, 8. And 2 can't go next to 1, because that would be a black dot relationship. These digits, I'm actually just going to label them, if you forgive me. Oh, yeah, that's a 15 segment. There, so I get the antechamber is a 9. This is a 7-8 pair. Oh, come on. Now this has got to do something, he says. That's not a 4. So how do we do that then? 1 can't go next to 2, because it would be a black dot relationship. It would be a doubling relationship. So there is a 2 in this domino in box 2. So neither of these can be a 4, because that would be a naughty. So the 4 is in one of those 2 positions. Now the 4 can't go here, because it would be next to a 2. That's beautiful. So the 4 goes here. Now this can't be the 2, so that's the 2. And I'm slowly but surely, maybe, the 4 can't go next to an 8. 7, 8. There might be more. There might be more we can do, but this has been a tremendous advance. Although it may be running out of steam now. 2. Yeah, it may well be running out of steam. There's a 1, unsurprisingly, on that 4-cell path. Does there need to be a 2 on it? 1, 3, 4, 5 would only be... No, there doesn't. 1, 3, 4, 5 is only 13, so that's fine. If... I don't know. Sorry. I don't know where to look again. Oh dear. What do you think we do here? Is this in any way obvious? Oh, I suppose we can't repeat digits, so the 2 here is stopping 2 being in either. Oh, but it couldn't have been 2 anyway. I was thinking we can't repeat a digit in the funny rule thing, in the reds. That's a 6, that will be a 4, and there'll be a 4 down there. If this is an 8, this is a 2, and then there's a 2 in one of those. Sorry, if this is in any way obvious, I do apologise. I haven't got a clue where to look. Oh, it was going really well for a moment, wasn't it? I was very excited for a second in terms of suddenly being able to do things. Okay, let's try some Sudoku. There's a 2 over here. There's a 4 over here. That can't be a 2-4 pair because that would be a naughty X domino, a doubling relationship domino. And also, I suppose, one of those has got 2 or 4 in it. Golly gosh, it's not easy to know what to do here. If that's a 2, those add up to 13. They couldn't be 6, 7. This would be 2, 8, wouldn't it? So it would have to be 2, 4, 9. That's quite difficult if that's a 2. So it would go 2, 8, 7. 4 here, that would then be a 6. This would be a 9. And these would be something. I'm not sure. 1, 3, 5, I don't know, something. Okay, let's try it the other way then. If that's a 4, these add up to 11. And they couldn't be 4, 7 or 5, 6. So they'd either be 2, 9 or 3, 8. I really don't think there's a problem with either of those. That's a 4. Might have to put the 8 here with a 6. This would be a 3. Okay. Stuck. Stuck is what we are. But there's probably some rule I've forgotten. Let me go back to the rules. We've got the region sum line. Okay, if that was 8, 7, then 8 and 7 would be down there, which probably would require this to have 9 on it. So this would be 9, 2, 4. So if this is 8, 7, this is 9, 2, 4. This is 8, 7 down here. But we know we know that these are not joined up, don't we? Because it's either this, I believe, or it's this. I just don't know which. And these digits, that is a real 15 segment. But I mean, I just don't think it's under very much pressure. Or maybe we've got to do the whole column. So we've got 15 there, plus 10 is 25. So these 4 digits add up to 20 to get us to 45 overall. And this is quite a big digit. But no, I just don't think that's enough. I really don't. Okay. So somehow or other, I've got to spot something else. I don't know what that is. If that was an 8, this can't be an 8. Because if that's an 8, this is a 6. And by 10 logic, this would be a 4. And the 4 and the 8 would be together, which is not going to work. So this is 1 or 6. I think that's not going to matter, but it is a truth. So 8 is in that domino. Or, oh golly gosh, I don't know. I'm so sorry. It probably, I don't know whether to think it ought to be easy. I think it ought to be a bit easier than I'm finding it, that's for sure. It's not going to be... Is it something to do with... If that's a 2, that would be 4, 6. It would be difficult. This would have to be 2, 5, 8 to add up to 13. So it would be 2 here, 8 here, 5 here. This would be 4, 6. We'd have to keep 9 out of the purples, but we could do that. 9 could go in one of those 2 cells. That would be fine. So that's not the clever trick that we're after. If I think I might have forgotten a rule as well. That's also bugging me in the back of my brain. How do you think we've? Do I think we've? I've got my footsteps, but I mean, I sort of understood the footstep situation. I think I'm on 34 here, 17, 16, 8. But it doesn't, I don't think it matters. It doesn't give me these digits, even though I know the footstep count. Your path does follow the region sum line. So I do now know these sum to 15. I know these sum to 15. Don't think I can do anything with that. But I might be wrong. I've got the green funny rule, but I think I've understood that at least a little bit. Maybe this can't have a 1 on it. It would have to be 159. Is that a problem? If this was 159, would we care? That would be 7, that would be 8. 8 would be over here. 159. I think that almost feels likely. All those numbers are quite easy to put together. Although there is going to be a 4-cell segment in here that it feels like that might want to have a 1 on it, doesn't it? At least that's what I feel. We can't really do anything with 3 and 7. One of these is a 3, so one of those can't be a 6. It's such a which it couldn't be anyway. Is there a way of getting more digits? Maybe this box I could work harder on and somehow understand something else. If that's 6, 9 now, that is a 1, and that would be a 4. 1, 4, 6, 9. 1, 4, 6, 9. Okay, that doesn't seem to do anything. 1, 4, 6, 9. If this is a 6, it goes 6, 2, 8, 7. 6, 2, 2, 8, 7. So this would have to be... That would have to be 4, 9, wouldn't it, in that variation? That's very forcing. I mean, let's just take a look at that. It would have to be 2, 4, 9, 8, 7 here. We're saying that this would have been 6 to cause that to happen. Oh, that doesn't work. I mean, that's very hard to see, but I can now see it. Okay. The point here, and this, I do think this is really difficult, so forgive me for having to just play that through in my brain, but I think I did see it relatively quickly once I did play it through. If this is a 6, the point is that this becomes an 8. And now we've got a problem, because this is an 8, and this is a 2, and now we've got to think about how we're going to make this 13 sum work. Because it's going to have to be a 13 sum. Now, it can't be 6, 7, and it can't be 5, 8. So it is 4, 9. And where's the 4 going if this is a 2? It can't go there. It's going to have to go there, and you're going to create a naughty 8, 4 pair. That is very hard. But it does get us unstuck. So I'm now saying this is not 6, this is 1. Which means this is 4, because it can't be 2 without that being a black dot relationship. So this is a 6. And this is, that's a 9 by 15 maths, which I should be able to do. And this is 4, 6. So this is 2, 8. That takes 2 out of that top cell there. Now, has this done us more favours? 9 is now hypothecated to one of 3 cells in column at the bottom of column 4. 4 is in one of the... Ooh, okay, 4 has appeared on this segment. So I need 2 more digits that... that's good. That's good. Because I need 2 more digits that add up to 11 that aren't 2, 9, 3, 8, or 4, 7. I'd have to repeat the 4 if it was 4, 7. So it's 4, 5, 6. And that's now 3. So that's 3, that's 5. And we have a whole box done, which I have to say I'm not unproud of. Now these digits are now 1 and 7. This is a 4-cell segment, so that's 8. So these have to add, this have to be 3, 5. It's the only way of completing that. It can't be 2, 6, can't be 1, 7. Hang on, let me just think that. No, I think I've done my maths wrong. 8, no, I have done them wrong. Silly Simon, bad Simon, but at least I spotted it. So this is 1, 7 by Sudoku, adding up to 8. So these are meant to add up to 7. They're not 1, 6 or 3, 4. So they're 2, 5. Okay, so these are 3, 8, apparently. Oh, that does work. Oh, we've got to keep the 8 away from the 4, though. So 8, 8, 6, 3. Don't know. Don't know. I'm not sure how to do that. Okay, but now presumably we're going to get a whole host of things at the bottom of the grid. 2, 7, 9 at the bottom of this column, and 1, 3, 8 at the bottom of this column. And somehow these have got to be married together to create stuff. That's not 5, look, because of this. That's 4 or 6. So if this was 4, this 2, 8 couldn't exist. It would be in a doubling relationship, so that's the 6, which means this is not 3. It's definitely not easy, this puzzle. Now, what do you think? What do you think we do now? Don't know. Hard to know, isn't it? And how are these splitting up? If it was those 4, because we've got quite big digits. We've got a 9 and an 8. So the 9 and the 8 have to be kept apart. So the 8 is not in the 4-cell segment, because if it was, the 3 digits that weren't 8 in that segment that added up to 15 would have to be 1, 2, and 4, and the 4 is unavailable because that's down there. So the 9, so it's a 9, 1, 2, 3 segment. So it's either those are 9, 1, 2, 3, and if that's the case, that's 7, 8. Or this is 9, 1, 2, 3, and that's 7, 8. So either that's 7, 8, or that is. Now, there's probably a way that we're meant to understand that. But again, I can't see what it is. Should we try... I hesitate to say it, but should we try Sudoku? Can we actually do any Sudoku here? 9 is in one of those three. If that was 9, this would have to be a 1-5 pair. That wouldn't work. All right, this can't be 9. Because if it is, these have to add up to 6. They can't be 2, 4, because this can be neither. So it has to be 1, 5. The 1 would go here next to a 2. That creates a naughty relationship. So the 9 is over there. There's no 8 on this string. So if there was no 7 on this string, it would be 4, 5, 6. And it would be 4 here. It wouldn't work. That's difficult, but it's true. So if there was no 7 on this string, given it hasn't got 9 on it, and it can't have 8 on it, it would have to be 4, 5, 6 to get to 15. In fact, this can't be 4, I've just realised, because it would be next to 8. I didn't realise that. So this is 4, 9 anyway. Okay, so this row is probably much more restricted than I'd realised. 1, 3, 6. Oh, I don't know then. Well, we were... No, we said... Well, 9, because 9 can't be on this. This can't be 1. Because it couldn't have 8 or 9 on it, so you couldn't make the other two digits add up to 14. This, where's 1 in the row? It can't go next to 2, so this is a 1. So 1 is in one of 3 places in column 2. It's going to be this somehow, isn't it? If this is a 3, they add up to 12. They'd have to be 5, 7. 3, 5. It'd be the same as that. 3, 5, 7. The rotten thing looks like it wants to work that way around. Okay, if this is 6, these add up to 9. And they couldn't be 4, 5, and they couldn't be 3, 6. So they couldn't be 2, 7. So it would be 6, 1, 6, 1. It doesn't work. This is not 6. Because that would have to be the 1, and this would have to be the 8, and the 1 would be next to the 2 again. I'm just going to double check that. If it's 6, they add up to 9. 2, 7. Why have I... Oh no, that is reasonable, because that's 2, 8. Yeah, I just don't think it can work. So this is 3. So this is 6. These add up to 12, and they aren't 3, 9, and they're not 4, 8. So they are 5, 7. The order is unknown then. But now this column's become a lot more restricted than it used to be. I think. 6 is locked in a couple of cells at the bottom of column 1. And let's do column 7. We need 1, 4, 6, 9. So let's fully pencil mark it, which is absurdly frivolous, but let's do it. 1, 4, 6, 9. We definitely can't put 9 in a purple. That will not work. Because these purples are meant to be lower. In fact, they're meant to be lower than all orthogonal neighbours, aren't they? So if this was 4, it wouldn't. Does this have to just be 1? Yeah, if that's 4 or 6, it's higher than 3. Have I got that wrong? The wrong way around? No, the purple is smaller than all orthogonal neighbours. That has to be 1. It's forced. So now, as Maverick flies over again, if this is 6, it will definitely be higher than that digit. So that's got to be 4. That's 5, just beating the 4 in here. Now this digit can't be 4, because 4's appeared in a purple. Now, does this do anything else? This 5, yeah, 5 is a bit restricted now. Box 9. these digits have to add up to, yeah, this is forced, isn't it? Because these have to add up to 11. So if this was 8, we can't put 3 here, it won't work. So that's got to be 2, that's 9, that now adds up to 15. This is 8, this is 6, that now adds up to 15. This 2 takes 2 out of here, this 9 takes 9 out of here. The 6 is done. And presumably, in some way, oh, 4 here means this can't be 8. So it's really, it's an amazing puzzle, by the way. Isn't it amazing that this sort of exists? No, I know what we, no, that's wrong. No, it can't be wrong. It can't be wrong. What we worked out here, I think, is that either this one is a 2-cell segment or this one is a 2-cell segment. And the 2-cell segment we worked out was a 7-8 pair, didn't we? I'm sure we worked that out, yeah, because it can't be a 9-6 pair. So how could this possibly be a 7? That would mean we couldn't put a 7-8 pair there or there, so that's got to be a 2. That might not do anything, bizarrely enough, which is distressing in the extreme. This can't be a 1 now, because it'll force the 2 there in the corner, and that would be tremendously terrible. So, oh, I don't believe it. It's still, no, it still doesn't work. It's still not enough. It's still not enough. Sorry. Oh. Oh is the statement we're looking for. So it's going to be cells that touch things like 4s and 2s, I think. They're going to be the most restricted, because at least you can make use of the doubling idea. Or maybe this purple. I know the purple can't be 4 because of this. 2, 3, 5, 7. I'm just going to fully pencil mark that. 2, 3, 5, 7. Now we can get rid of 2 if it's next to 1. Yeah, that didn't work at all. Sorry. Oh, get rid of 2 if it's next to 1. I've done a bit more of the puzzle then. So, oh, don't believe it. I thought that was going to definitely do something. Let's try row 5 then. 2, 4, 7, 9. 2, 4, 7, 9. Now, can we can't put 4 next to 8. No, it doesn't work. Okay, I'm going to try row 4 then. 3, 4, 5, 9. I can get rid of 3 from a cell next to a 6. Oh, no, this is definitely not getting easier. A purple. Oh, the purple here has to be lower. No, it can't be 7, because it would be bigger than that one. Probably quite difficult for it to be 5, actually. If it's 5, that's 7. 5, 7. What's this one? No idea. No idea. How do you think we do this? 7, 8, 9, 9, 1, 9, 1, 7, 8. It's really difficult. I think this is a very hard puzzle. There, I've said it. I'm finding it very hard to think this through logically. I suspect I'm being slightly dim, but maybe not terminally dim. Can I do some sort of Sudoku trick here? I don't know. I don't know is the answer. I'm sorry. If eight, I haven't got anything. I do not know what to do. I don't even really know where to look, actually. I've got an X there. Oh, the X was just the path, wasn't it? That's not saying they add up to 10, which would have been totally impossible. Okay, let's try... Should we try... I don't... Oh, 1. Okay. So 1 up there. So the 1 and the 2 are going to be offset up here. They're going to be on a diagonal because they can't be in a vertical relationship, or they would be in a doubling relationship. Oh, okay. So there's a 1 and a 4 in one of those two cells, because whichever one the 2 is in is not going to have a 4 beneath it. So it's going to be sort of 1, 2, 4 like that, or 1, 2, 4 like that. And one of these is a 1, 4 pair. That's interesting. So if it was that one, oh, you'd almost get the 1. It would be in one of those two cells. I've probably just missed, I can't put 6 next to it. There's probably something somewhere down here where I've not spotted a relationship that I could rule out. I'm not sure about that, but... Well, maybe it's this one. If that's 5, that would have... Oh, nearly. I nearly had an epiphany. If that's 5, that has to be 7, and then that has to be higher than 7 because it can't be 7. That would be 9. And I was thinking if that's 7, 9, and that's 2, maybe that does something. 9, 2. This would be 4, 7. And if this was 5, 7, they would be 2, 3. So 2, 3, 4, 7, 5, 9. It probably all works, actually. That would be a 4. Oh, that would be a 4 next to a 2. I mean, that's ridiculous. I don't think it does work, actually. Yeah, it doesn't, but it's incredibly complicated. But I think we're at the stage where we do have to start thinking about incredibly complicated things. If this was 5, this is 7, and this is 9, which means this is 2. But if this is 5 and this is 9, that's a 4, and the 2-4 pair clash, so that is not 5. This is right down to... The thing is, it's right down to 2 or 3. And that's not really going to help me, is it? Or is it? I don't think it is. Obviously, if that was 4, it would be useful, because then that would be a 3. But I don't see a problem there. I'm so sorry. This is probably very obvious to everybody, but let's try that cell. What can that be in terms of the total panoply? 1, 3, 4, 7, 8, 9. It can't be 1 because it's got to be bigger than this. This really hasn't... Oh, 3 and 7 actually are ruled out by the green logic. Oh, okay, I've got this down to 4, 8, or 9 now. That feels better. Yes, actually the 3, 7 is interesting because you can combine it with the 5, 6, 2 in row 7, and actually the Sudoku is more interesting than I'd expected. We're going to be able to do the same in those two cells. Yeah, okay, we're going to look at row 7 in a bit more detail. So this digit is 1 or 4 or 8 or 9. Now, these can't include 8. Neither can be an 8 because 4 is in this domino. So they are not 8. So this is really come down now. Oh, there's something there, isn't there? What is it? Oh, I feel like that's really interesting. I can't quite see why. So what are the options for that? 7, 8, or 9, 9, 1. Oh, that's it. Done it. Yeah, look at this domino. Now, either this is part of a 7, 8 pair, adding to 15, or it's part of a quadruple, which is made up of 9, 1, 2, 3. But if it's that, these two squares are a 9, 1 pair. And what are we putting into those? Both of them would have to be 4. You can't do that. So this pair is a 7, 8 pair. And this is going to tell us the path. Because now we can join these up. We must zoom round there to pick up these digits. So now this is a 9. And this is a 1, it's a 1, 3 pair, which might not be resolved. Oh, it is by the 2. The 2 can't go next to the 1. So that does the 3 and the 7. Oh, this is... What a puzzle. Just let's stop here, in case I can't finish it, and just pause for a moment and think about what Sudoku Joker, a totally new name to me, has done with this. I mean, it is about the most complicated drafting strategy ever. But the fact this is working is crazy. 1, 5, 6, 8. Now, I'm sure there's something very good we can do here. I've just got to think about it. Maybe I'll just pencil mark this row. 1, 3, 4, 1. Oh, wait. Look, there's a 4, 9 here. So in the row, that's a 4, 9 pair. That might have been available for a while, which means this is a 1. And that means this can't be a 2. So that's 2, that's 6, that's 3. Now that means this can't be 2. It's got to be bigger. Neither of these can be 6, but they couldn't be anyway. These aren't 3 anymore. There's definitely a 2 over here. So these definitely don't include 2. And given this is a 4, 9 pair, we haven't put 8 in the box. So that's an 8. 8's in one of those two cells at the top of column 1. Now, what do we need in the bottom row? We need a 6 and a 7. What do we need in this row? We need a 5 and an 8. What do we need in this row? A 1 and a 3. We can't put... That 2-1 relationship is absolutely crucial, isn't it? And again, hugely crucial. And now this 2 is going there, which means that can't be a 1. Can't put the 4. This is starting to... I'm not going to say it. I'm not going to say it in case I'm wrong, but this is so exciting now. 6, 8, which I can do. 6, 8. 8, 5. 7, 4. 3. 4, 7 makes this 9. I've not put 5 in this box, so I ought to. This digit is now not 3 or 5. This digit is, that's a 4, 9 pair. That makes this a 7 apparently. So 7, 5, 2. Can't put 2 next to 4, so I'm going to go 9, 4, 4, 9. This is mad. 7, 6, 8. Please work. 3, 5, 7. That's 5. 5, 5, 7, 7, 3. I mean, this could be correct. I mean, I know I've finished it, but I mean, who knows whether the Sudoku is actually right. Now, have I done all the things I'm meant to have done? We'll just double check this path again. So I'm saying I start with 50, 49, 48, 47, 46, 45, 44, 43, 42, 41, 40, 39, 38, 37, 36, 35, 34, 17, 16, 8, 18. This must be right. 18. 17, 16, 15, 14, 24, 23, 22, 21, 20, 19, 18, 17, 16, 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. It must be right. Yes, congratulations, you have reached room 46. Whoa! Not many solves of that one. That's a lot of days. That is a lot of days for 14 solves. But I am now one of them. I'm France. Wow. Wow. The Blueprints community need to tell me whether that's harder than anything in the game. I think it is. I mean, the game is cussed, so that you can't do anything about that. But what a puzzle that is! Sudoku Joker, take about what? It's ridiculous, ridiculously clever. I'm going to be fascinated to see about the comments on this one. Actually, that both from Blueprints fans and Sudoku fans, and that was hard, eh? Or have I might have missed something very obvious about the. There might be some clever maths you can sort of instantly do with the red cells. But I didn't even think about the red cells until I spent ages thinking about the region sum. Anyway, don't know. I don't know, but I am very pleased to get through that one. Let me know in the comments how you got on with it. I enjoy the comments, especially when they're kind, and we'll be back later with another edition of Cracking the Cryptic.